Hello and welcome back to Lobotomy Corporation, and today we will not continue with the day 20, but instead I wanted to read all the abnormalities that I got on the Asiyah level, because we got quite a collection already, 16 abnormalities, and all of them have a certain bit of lore. For example, this one has a lot of it, and in this episode I just wanted to read some of them. So let's begin our management, but I'm not going to do anything. I'm just going to read them left to right, and I will start with control team, then information, then training, then safety. So let's see. 1 scene and 100 of good deeds. A silent abnormality that understands that the conflict between good and evil. Its empty eye sockets stare at all those who encounter it. How can they stare if they have no eyes? Okay. A giant skull that is attached to a cross. It wears a crown of thorns. It floats about 2 meters above the ground. While its appearance is bizarre, it is rare to record an incident of violence against employees involving this abnormality. Yeah, it has a very low damage. To get normal result you need 4 to 7, and there is nothing bad here. It actually restores sanity, and also yeah, it just does only good and doesn't escape, so these things seem to be reasonable. It feeds on the evil that seeps out during conversation between people. The assigned employee must kneel before it. Staining appears to be acceptable, and present their evil by confessing their sins to it. The way it feeds is unknown. Except from experiment records, we have catalogued the sins a person can commit into 3 levels. Level 1, a small lie or action that either goes unnoticed or can be shared in jest. Level 2, sins that are more serious and only shared with closest of friends. And level 3, sins so profound that they cannot be shared with anyone. This will be taken to the grave. So we have some redacted employee interacting with this abnormality. Employee had been assigned to confess a level 1 sin. Energy production via abnormality increased by 12%. Employee was assigned to confess a level 2 sin. Energy production via abnormality increased by level 15. And we assigned an employee to confess a level 3 sin. A minute and 48 seconds after the employee was sent in, a bright flash of light has set. The light was so bright that it could be seen outside of the containment unit. Immediately following the light, there was a facility-wide power outage. The phenomena lasted for 2 hours. Employee lost 6 years of their memory. Further experiments were cancelled. Scientific ethics decree that all footage of those who participated in the experiment is to be kept sealed. However, the incident left us no choice but to review the footage of the containment unit. Interesting. Is this the footage? Employee redacted. This happened during some unknown time at around 4 PM or some unknown place, who knows. Anyways, there was a railway about 20 minutes from my house. Some of my good friends and I decided to dress as forest animal. One of us chose to go as a deer. It was a crude costume. It could hardly be called one, to be honest. Just a pair of clumsy made antlers and a dark outfit with some deer-like spots on it. Omitted. I don't know how our dear friend wandered into the woods. We didn't even notice he was missing for maybe an hour. We searched for him and finally found him in some bushes. We called out his name, and I'm not sure if it was from relief or finally finding us, or what, but he started sprinting toward us. And that's when we heard it, the gunshots. Bang, bang, bang. When I came to my senses, I saw his blood, splattered all the way to my feet. After that, not one of us dressed up as animals ever again. That's all. By the way, is this really supposed to work? I don't think this is a level 3 scene. And it's not really a scene on his part, unless he's the one who made him do that. But looks like if they confess a level 3 scene, that skull just takes the memory of that scene with them. Interesting. Well, let's see. Observation log number 4-435. Its eye sockets are empty. It is a skull after all, but I doubt it's blind. It certainly has a gaze fixed on me, and I can somehow feel that it's listening to me. Confessing to it does lighten my heart, admittedly. Afterwards, we investigated the incident in the employee's hometown to get a better picture. We learned that a boy named Justin was shot and killed in a deer costume by hunters during hunting season. Unlike the employee's confession, Justin was repeatedly bullied by other kids. Witnesses said that they heard the kids shout, "Run, Justice, run!" right before the gunshot. After the incident, the kids at the scene moved out of town, and deer hunting was banned in this area. Excerpt from Abnormality Research Log X392. Honestly, you cannot expect all of our employees to give honest confession to the skull. Around every 1 in 10 employees will tend to say something that is not completely true. It is a bit different from a lie. You can say that it is a subconscious excuse they make. They distort perspective to justify their actions, even though they are aware that they should tell the truth. Once this happens, the confession is no longer truly a confession. Yes, I'm talking about you trying to justify your tardiness for 5 minutes now. It's been 7 minutes actually. But okay. Looks like this abnormality doesn't have anything special about it. It's just a confession that actually makes you feel a little bit better about yourself. Since it restores sanity and what all, it basically just feeds on bad memories and so-called sins. In the model itself, it also has a moving lower jaw, but there is nothing about it. So maybe just for an art reason. Okay, let's move. Now, let's continue with the Beauty and the Beast. Looks like it's some reference to a fairy tale by the similar name. And let's see. A self-loathing abnormality that spends every day letting out miserable screams. It wishes to break the cycle of the curse, but there is no way to do so. Because in the original tale, the Beast was a man who had a curse of, I guess, similar to lycanthropy, where he was cursed to be some sort of devil bear or whatever. Okay. Beauty was once a fair lady with charming green eyes. One day, this poor lady learns of a job opening at the manor of a count. With the promise of hefty payment, the count had a monstrous appearance. Rumor says anyone who dares to enter his manor is never seen again. It must be that hideous monster preying on the people. With that thought in her mind, she brought a very sharp knife with her. The lady was hired and worked at the manor. Contrary to the rumors, the monster was nowhere to be seen. Sometimes at night she could hear a voice, It was very kind and compensated her for her troubles handsomely. Working in the manner, the lady bore a greedy thought. If the Count was gone, I could take all his possessions for myself. One day, she went inside the Count's room, the room that she was instructed to never enter during the day. There she saw the Count's true form. He was truly horrendous. 100 of eyes, 4 legs. He was neither human nor animal. The lady thought, perhaps such a hideous monster would be better off if it didn't exist. She proceeded to stab the beast with her knife. Surprisingly, the beast laughed in the last moments. Before the lady could even ask why it was laughing, she began to change. 100 of eyes formed, and thick coat of fur grew on her. Soon she turned into the beast. Now the manor and all its riches belonged to her. Rumor says anyone who dares to enter the Count's manor is never seen again. That's an interesting spin on the original tale, because in the original tale the beauty was compassionate and wanted to help the Count to live with his existence, but here the beauty was greedy and wanted to relieve the beast of his existence. Kinda interesting development. And also we can see the green eyes. But I don't know. Repression. What does it mean? Like you kill the beauty and the beast? Like you kill her? Because she gets damaged by it. Yes. Committing repression gives best energy, but negatively affects health of Beauty and the Beast. And it doesn't seem like employees just, I don't know, stop this Beauty and the Beast. I see. After repeated repression work, Beauty and the Beast collapsed with a weak moan on the floor. Once it had passed, Yuri, who had carried out the work process, began to suffer unidentifiable symptoms. Soon, Beauty and the Beast was born anew. So yeah, here the explanation. Basically, this Yuri guy became the new Beauty and the Beast. I see. So it explains why this thing works like that. And also, now that I've seen it, like you see there are a lot of eyes here. Now, if I look a little bit closer, these are eyes. This thing here, because I always look at it and why it doesn't have a face? What this static is all about? But no, it's just so many eyes that look like worms, to be honest. Okay, behavior adjustment. I think there is nothing besides this page, so let's read it. An electronic device with a mysterious symbol engraved into it. It adjusts everyone to become righteous, no matter how wicked, evil, and arrogant they might be. However, its user will become too dependent on the device and lose all ability to think on their own. Eventually, intellect loses all meaning as they forget even how to exist. At first, I thought that since it reduces prudence, maybe it makes an employee stupid, and then it adjusts justice, of course, because it makes them righteous. But then I thought, it says here, it makes them righteous no matter what, and the employee begins to be dependent on this device. So maybe it doesn't make them stupid, no. It just reduces them. Like, in a sense, the person who was this employee slowly but surely dies, and this is why prudence is lower. Basically, their willpower is lower because there's less of them. Well, not much to say about this little ball. Or it's not a ball, it's whatever that is. I don't know the reference, if there is any. And a fairy festival. Let's see. The abnormality is similar to a fairy, having 2 pairs of wings and a small body. Yeah. They act as a cluster. The abnormality is similar to a fairy, having 2 pairs of wings and a small body. They act as a cluster. But you said that there is only 1 fairy. Okay, no matter. Maybe 1 fairy has a lot of fairies inside. They use a language we cannot understand to communicate with each other. They follow a few employees around when they enter the containment unit, using their special abilities to help heal injuries. Employees call this act the fairies' care. The fairies protect our employees. If you often act out of the goodness of your heart and are a lover of nature, then the fairies will gladly take care of you. Everything will be peaceful while you're under the fairies' care. You can also enjoy the envious glances you will get from the other employees. Not that it's important, but what if the fairies don't approach you? Then you should reflect on your life. When Emil and I took shifts entering the fairies' containment unit, the fairies did not hesitate to approach me. Only me, never towards Emil. You all know Emil and how he is. Why just yesterday he refused to share his snacks with me, and he was acting all high and mighty. It is a sacred act to be protected by the fairies in any world. However, do not enter the containment unit just to have a bit of fun. If you read a few books on them, you will know that the fairies dislike those who take advantage of their kindness. The corresponding document is only available to employees with level 4 access and higher. Whatever that means, we don't know anything about any levels of access. Like in the original SCP Containment Breach, why I am saying original, in the SCP Containment Breach, if you read any of their stuff, they have several levels of access, I think 1 to 5. The 5 is the highest and usually cannot get it. And 4 means like a research director or something very high. So yeah, I don't know if this is similar to this one, but we can assume. When Walter, who was under the care of fairies, died in the room of another abnormality, we noticed some anomalies. His stomach and face were ripped off, and his eyeballs and organs were damaged as if they were eaten by something. Moreover, the containment unit Walter was found in was for an abnormality that used psychological attacks. Meanwhile, the fairies had someone's blood and flesh smeared all over their mouths. We did not bother to examine them to find out whose flesh and blood it was. In our world, there are few outcomes that result from perfect kindness. Having fairies that live in the forest visit you just because they like you or that you have done many good deeds is only something that happens in fairy tales. Even though we know this truth, we still sometimes become deluded, thinking that the fairies' care is happening because of all good deeds we have done, or that the fairies are favoring us because there is something that makes us more special than the other employees. The fairies are no more than carnivorous monsters, and their protection is their method to keep the meat fresh. When an employee enters another containment unit, they gobble them up, in fear that they would lose their food to something else. However, the employees were greatly satisfied by the fairies' care, and we saw a drastic decrease in the accident rates, so we deemed it unnecessary to tell the truth to the employees. Well, you see it. There is nothing good in this world of Lobotomy Corporation. It's eat or be eaten. And this is why when they enter the containment unit of another abnormality, they just eat the thing. Well, interesting to see. And let's move to another chamber. Ppodae, or whatever it's called. The abnormality was created with the idea provided by the Tumblebug Baker, Lee Yuan Hei. A super fluffy, ultra cute puppy with a white fur like a fresh snow. This abnormality is so cute that just by taking a short little glance at it, it will make you feel so much better. It has the eyes of an angel and the purest thing in the world. Further description of this creature have been omitted by brevity's sake. The rest of the sentences are essentially just saying it's so cute in various ways. This little abnormality couldn't be evil at all. The only thing you have to worry about is your head aching if you look at it too long because it's just so cute. Yeah, I've seen like what it can become if you don't do the red action on it. I'm not sure. In fact, employees who enter this abnormality containment unit tend to lose themselves a bit and often need to be forcibly removed from the unit by other employees. Caution needs to be taken, as the assisting employees can also become captivated by the cuteness and become lost as well. Attempts to bring the abnormality out of this unit may occur from time to time, but this is not a concern as they are typically prevented by other employees. When too many employees want to work with this abnormality, a lottery will be held to decide who gets the privilege of doing so. Our employees tend to show symptoms of mental regression, such as oddly toned speech with a high pitch upon entering the containment unit, but it seems that this is the only temporary problem. Many of our employees refer to this abnormality as the goodest boy in the world, Ppodae. However, its official designation is Ppodae. Please make sure you don't get confused. Every employee who enters the containment unit must upload a video or photo report of this abnormality. This is highly, extremely, uber important. Please ensure that nobody misses this step. To be honest, it gets a little bit annoying at this point. At least they could have put like a little sign. This passage was deleted because it contains too much fluff, blah 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 blah, like here. Because yeah, it's just too much at this point. A company of this size will always have a rumor or two floating around. I heard that you can hear someone's bones breaking if you walk in the walkways at night. If you try and track down that sound, you will find Yeti, who is eating one of our employees. Or Yeti, I guess the Sasquatch. However, we don't have an abnormality that looks like an Yeti. Excerpt from an audio recording. John, you should be thankful, dude. You've got a lucky chance to get work with the goodest boy in the world. Jacob, oh, it's biting me with its paws. Is this an attack? He just wants to feed. He just wants you to feed him. Don't you know that it's a trend in our company to always carry a packet of dog food or two? Well, I don't really like animals. John lets out a irritated mumble. By the way, this little puppy pretty beefy. Is that how dogs usually are? I guess this one plays a lot of catch, huh? We used to play fetch with him pretty often. Just watch how cute he was running after the ball, though we stopped for some reason. Hey, did you see his face when I fed it? It was super creepy, I swear. It's just your imagination, man. He is always like our little angel. Isn't that? White, who is a good boy? White? Jeez, does this thing have some kind of power to mentally manipulate people? No idea what you are on about, Jacob. Do you do Whittle bodies? Whittle cutie pie? Do you... What the fuck is happening to Jacob? Did you wait for me, Ppodae boy? Oh, hey, it's eating something. Aren't we supposed to be the first people in this unit today? My little good boy was just hungry. Oh man, he is just so cute. Look at how he is snoring on that. What the hell is it chewing on? Shit, I knew. That's the James fingers, man. He went missing during the last patrol shift. Can't you see that nail? Remember him bragging about having a heart painted on his nail? I told you, dude, this thing is up to no good. I can't believe it. Oh, this abnormality is a killer. I get that you're shocked, but I told you a bunch of times that there is no way a cute pet could be harmless in this place. Man, I'm glad you finally came to your sense. Who wouldn't feed him on time? Poor little guys. Been starving all night. It's so heartbreaking. Well, I think we are supposed to suppress it? How could you even suggest doing something so heartless to a cute little good boy like this? Just work at this. Look at his eyes. How could an innocent animal do something wrong? Is that white you good? The abnormality shows no reaction. Only the sound of bone being gnawed on is audible. Dude, your little engine is gnawing on colleague's finger. What are you, a newbie? Don't you know everything cute is forgiven here? I've never heard that, and I seriously don't think it's true. We gotta tranquilize it, and if you want, then I will do it myself. The sound of tranquilizer shot being fired can be heard. No! The abnormality began to whimper. The recording cuts off after a bit of shouting. Following the evidence I have provided in the recording, I request that Jacob be immediately demoted for firing such a thing at Ppodae. A terrible, evil animal abuser has no place working in our company. Our goodest boy in the world, Ppodae, has been tranquilized, traumatized by this accident. He'll only eat 5 kilograms of his favorite snack now, to help him cope with the trauma. I suggest we request a new snack for Ppodae. Premium grade salmon rich with vitamin B. I will waiting for your reply. Your request has been accepted. P.S. In your next message, please make sure to attach 5 different photos of the goodest boy in the world, Ppodae. Thank you in advance. Oh my god. I am finally through this. To be honest, I have nothing to tell about it. I am not a dog person. I'm a cat person. And especially I'm not a small dog person. I like bigger dogs better, because they seem to behave better than small dogs. At least from my experience. But yeah, there is just too much going on in this document. Okay, let's read the punishing bird. The one that is very annoying, just pecks people, and if you kill it, it will instantly kill you. Oh wow, not much description. A small and confident bird that punishes the evil, guilty, and all sorts of irreverent people. Some people have said that it is a cute when the bird mighty flutters its tiny wings. People have been committing sins since long over. Why do they commit sins, knowing it's wrong? The small bird wonders. It must be because there is no one to punish people for their misdeeds. If someone takes the role, then no foul act would happen in this world, ever again. With this in mind, the little bird left the forest, and had been living in, and never went back. Well, as much as there is description, there is no much to be said about this bird. I don't know if it's some kind of reference to something, but if it would have been so, maybe there was a little bit more description to it. Yeah, well, it has a funny head movement. Reminds me of that bird Apollo that always repeats something like Shrok, wow, or whatever. Warrior. This is a warrior. Okay. The Child of the Galaxy. The first abnormality that looks like something really formidable. It was a night veiled in a gentle mist. A barefooted child was looking at me. He was crying, his dreamy eyes filled with sorrow. The sadness hanging on his face stopped me in my tracks. He said he lost something precious, and when I offered to help, he gave me a big smile. A teardrop fell from the child's dewy eye, as stars showed from the skies. The world falls into a slumber, trapped in an ecstatic lullaby. That night, the galaxy descended with bare feet. Excerpt from the diary of employee who committed suicide. Yeah, a very poetic ending to an employee of this company, I guess. It takes the form of a young boy with big eyes and skin that resembles the night sky. The child shows great enjoyment with talking and playing with others. He has a strong attachment to the act of making contact with another. If the child and an employee reach a certain level of intimacy, he will give a small pebble to the employee he now considers his friend. The employee will feel happiness and vigor while in possession of the pebble. However, this pebble will do more than just good if the employee happens to enter any containment unit other than his. If an employee in possession of one of the child's pebbles, the sign of their strong friendship, dies, he will show deep grief and sorrow for their loss. Excerpt from employee's diary. Unknown date. I looked into the... Wait, and I am back. So, unknown date. I looked into the child's eyes for a while. I may have spaced out a little bit, because his eyes were so dreamy. I wanted to pet him, but I remembered my coworkers telling me not to have personal feelings towards abnormalities. Unknown date. I told him my name. He repeated it with wide eyes, as he found out a big secret. Okay. Each time he called my name, it felt like it became something more than just a familiar thing. It had been living with me. Unknown date. When another employee entered the child containment, he did not follow that employee and looked for me instead. I felt basically triumphant after hearing about that. The kid follows me, not you. Unknown date. The moment I entered the child room, he jumped into my arms crying. When I finally set him down, he shed a tear that became a small white pebble that fell into my hand. So that's how he makes these pebbles? From his tears? Please don't lose it, and don't give it to anyone else, the boy mumbled. Unknown date. Do you like it? More than you like me? The boy quietly asked when I arrived finishing work with another abnormality. I asked how he knew what I was doing, and he answered, "Isn't it obvious? I know everything, whatever you do, wherever you go." His gaze lay on the pebble, then he smiled. His eyes gave me goosebumps. Unknown date. I tried to rid myself of the pebble, but I realized it was beyond my control. I don't get what I'm talking about right now, but you still treasure it, right? The child smiles at me. Smiles. Unknown date. I can't get this pebble off me. My only hope is to wait for the child to tire of me. I'm waiting for that day, but will it ever come? People tell me I'm an excellent employee. Idiots! They don't even know a thing. Shut up! Unknown date. I can't take it anymore. I can't escape him. I thought I was in charge, but in the truth, I was just a pebble in his hands the whole time. Whenever I go, wherever I go, I hear the whispers. I have to end it, but I'm not even sure if I can. I came from afar. I'm so glad to meet you. Become a pebble, and let's walk the galaxy together. I hear his whispers and breath. Pitch black darkness follows. just like the night I met him. Wait, what? It has no good outcome? This is the first time I noticed that. It only has neutral or bad. Well, this child is very possessive. I wonder what his problem is. Maybe he just doesn't like losing friends or whatever, and he doesn't know how to make friends and what does it mean to have friends. So he just privatize people, so to say, by forcing them to all the bubbles that make him omnipresent. I don't know, but this abnormality is very useful, to be honest. Like, if I could, I would just give everyone this necklace. I think an employee in some department has it. Like, not you. Yeah, you see? Currency. She has the necklace and she is constantly healing from it. It's very useful. I don't think anyone else has it. Yeah. Well, it's a he abnormality, so it's very rare that he gives out this present. And he is crying. And he seems to be wearing very poor clothes. Barefooted. Why won't you come to me? Yeah. Well, there's nothing to really say about him. Basically, he is just forever alone. And he cannot escape this loneliness. It's kinda poetic, to be honest. Because he represents the galaxy. And on the scale of galaxy, we are kinda small. We are kinda alone in this infinite darkness. And so he could be seen like representation of this. Okay, let's move on to something easier. A skin prophecy. A book made of skin, written in blood, standing on the stand of bones. Great. An ancient-looking religious book that rests on the top of a skinny lectern. Its numerous pages are written on old parchment. Its believers pray that its sanctity would last forever by binding the stone in human skin. Those who open the book will be enlightened to unimaginable truths. The ones who master the truths will be called by the prophets. The call cannot be denied. Save us now and forevermore. The truth shall set us free. Save us now and forevermore. The truth shall set us free. Yeah, the truth will kill us, basically. This is everything that is written in this book. Kinda suspicious book, to be honest. But like, what kind of truth it can give you? What kind of truth it can give you even? Like, maybe it's not even truth. It may be as well just a lie. Because who said that the prophecy should be correct in any case? So maybe it just corrupts the minds of individuals and then releases them, sets them free. But yeah. But at least it's kinda useful at the start of the game when you have low levels of sanity. But to be honest, both this item and this item are kinda useless. Like, I don't see any reason to use any of these items even when we get to this one, I will explain myself. Okay, let's move on to the Fragment of the Universe, yet another universe type abnormality that looks like a song. In many literature sources, or maybe how to best describe it, like legends and whatever, it was believed that song or music played some role in the creation of the universe. Some not sources, but fictional books even depict creation of the universe through a song or music. So this is an interesting one. And interesting reference. An abnormality that resembles a child's innocent doodles. So is this really how it looks? I thought that it is just a artistic representation, but it seems like it's the real appearance of the thing, because it looks different here. Originally, it had no stable form. Its shape would continuously morph. To this day, its aspects still change, albeit at a much slower pace. Component analysis has revealed that this abnormality consists of matter that does not exist on Earth. It's notable for metaphysical appearance that one cannot explain with words. Basically, it's not baryonic matter. It often shows incomprehensible linguistic activity. One employee tried to decipher its speech, see document 1, employee David's song, but their mental contamination level rose beyond the limits within several days. They suffered severe psychosis and had to be quarantined. The abnormality's tentacles, which are quite different from what we consider the average tentacle, for simplicity's sake, we monikered them as tentacles, can pierce through the barriers of humanity. Employees impaled by the tentacles will suffer semi-permanent brain damage. Barrier of humanity. What? When the abnormality escapes its containment unit, it will emit noises in the corridors. As the sound it makes have what could be considered a melody, and syllables we consider it singing. However, none of our staff can precisely remember it, given that the most time they are unable to describe it due to their serious brain damage. Those who were within 100 meters of singing called it a sound unheard of in this world. Because of these descriptions, we titled it Echoes from the Beyond, see document number 2, Singing. Experiment number 1, the possibility of communication. We have determined that the abnormality has an intelligence similar to or even higher than that of a human. It gave it a simple language learning course. As a result, a crude communication by combining words has become possible. The following is a segment of communication records with the abnormality. Are all of your kind similar in appearance? Negative, outside, child, see, picture, face, happy, change, form. So basically, they can choose their appearance, and it saw something a child drew maybe, and it chose the appearance of a child's drawing, and it made some child happy, so it stayed the same. Why have you come here? Knowledge, share, human. Why do you want to share knowledge with us? Understanding, knowledge, moment, no. Universe, coincidence, negative, no. I'm still trying to understand that. It's not a coincidence that there is knowledge in the universe at this exact moment. Something along these lines. This section is an attempt to decipher the conversation with the abnormality. It based its form on a picture drawn by a child. It changed its form because the child's expression while drawing was happy. It came here. Oh, basically, yeah. So basically it's an alien life form, and it saw that the child drew this picture, and it was happy because of it. And so it decided to make an appearance that would make people happy. Yeah, that is interesting. It came here to share its species knowledge with us. The moment we fully understand that knowledge, we will know their ultimate goal. There is no such a thing as a coincidence in the universe. I don't know about the third one. Experiment number 2. Experiment of laughter. After watching a video about laughing for 30 minutes, the abnormality understood the concept of laughing. After that, when an employee entered its containment unit to work with it, it would sometimes emit a strange noise with what appeared to be the shape of a smile on its face. It looked like it was mimicking laughter. Experiment number 3. Comprehension of symbols. We taught it the meaning of various symbols with language. Among them was a shape of a heart. The symbol provoked distinct change of form in the abnormality. Yeah, it has a lot of hearts on top of it. And also it is interesting that this heart is not the same as a real heart. It's just a symbol. It has no meaning apart from being a symbol of what it represents. Q. Showing the abnormality depiction of a heart. This is the symbol of heart. Many people believe that emotions come from the heart, and this symbol is used to express positive emotions or liking towards someone. Omitted. Basically, it explained a lot of things, I guess. Afterwards, several symbols resembling hearts were seen on the abnormality's body. It seemed to understand that the symbols could be used to express friendliness towards humans. Combining the results of the previous 2 experiments, we can confirm that this abnormality is non-hostile to humans and wishes to become friends. Yeah, but we don't know. We still don't know. Because it might mimic being friendly, but what if it just waits for a right moment? Who knows? Document number 1. Employee David Song. David was famous in his department for attempts to communicate with the fragments of the universe. He was an intellectual who enjoyed reading philosophical books and gazing at the stars. He held interest in the abnormality. Okay, I need to change something. Because I only now noticed these whispers from the abnormality next door. Where was I? He held interest in the abnormality, and as such, he had the job. He researched its laughing and behavior purely out of personal interest. So, what became of David? Eventually, he succeeded in entering the domain of the fragment of the universe. However, it was obvious that his small brain couldn't withstand it. He was transferred to the psychiatric ward and died of starvation, while singing an unrecognizable song. This is why the abnormality's voice cannot be revealed to the public. Audio record. Echoes of the universe currently removed. Document number 2. Singing. Why didn't you tell me earlier that the abnormality was responsible for this condition? I have no idea if there are any patterns, but they all show the same strange behavior on the exact same days. Can you imagine a group of patients staring at the sky with dazed faces, wailing strange noises in the corridor at night while everyone is asleep? I had such a difficult time persuading the other patients that they must have been practicing for the company's upcoming Halloween event. Psychiatric treatment and medicine won't help. Caving, still caving. They keep repeating these words, and anything else they utter is not from any language we know. I think sending them to a general hospital was an unwise decision. doctor from the port. Yeah, maybe it's trying to call more of its own kind. But there's nothing completely hostile in its behavior. Like, yes, they get brain damage, like it's written somewhere here, after listening to the singing of this song, but it's maybe just a side effect. Maybe it doesn't want to hurt people, and it tries to understand, like, what is good, what is bad, what is hurtful, what is not. Or maybe it doesn't even care, and it just tries to appear as friendly as it possibly can, because it's the only thing that it knows that works, and it tries to lure more of its kind to this place. But interesting is that maybe this abnormality can escape on its own, like maybe it doesn't even need the containment. Well, it needs the containment, but maybe it can escape the containment just on its own, because it has no shape, it's not physical. Okay, the hardest one, because I don't enjoy the noise it makes. The lady facing the wall, which reminds me a certain girl from a certain Japanese horror movie. Yeah, I cannot hear her. Abnormality in the shape of a woman against the wall. Over time, her unbearable sorrow grew into a mournful obsession covered in countless lengthy hair. As she is always facing the wall, not a single person has seen her face. Well, some of them saw. While she occasionally talks to herself and weeps quietly, it is impossible to have a meaningful conversation with her. Despite her human appearance, it is impossible to discern what she is really looking at or her true intentions. She will attempt to talk to or pique the interest of those who are about to leave the containment unit. However, one should never look back in response, as it may cause mental damage. Certain rumors insist that one may turn to stone upon looking back, but this is clearly not true. Well, this is clearly not true because it just does white damage. Yeah, panic attack, that's all. Except from observation log 1304. There is only one important rule to follow: ignore her. She always tries to draw our attention. She mutters incoherently. She mutters incoherently in an attempt to have those in the room to pay closer attention to what she is saying. She will even plead or whisper maliciously when someone is about to leave, in the hopes that they may instinctively look back. The subconscious is a threat to our own health in her presence. It is important to have your guard up and to be awake and to be aware of what is occurring when you are in the room with her. If you forget the warnings for even a second and let your guard down, you may find yourself looking back towards her. I have another warning to leave to all who read this. Do not let this insidious abnormality learn your name. If she learns your name, she may use it to trick you into turning around. No matter what you hear or what she may do to tempt you while you are in the room with her, do not, I repeat, do not under any circumstances look at her. Curiosity is a luxury you must never indulge in when you are in her containment unit. Well, it explains why temperance people try to look at her, I guess. Okay, let's read more. Excerpt from counseling log number 939. Employee, whatever, was a colleague of mine from whom I care deeply. Well, I care for all my employees. but was different. The amount of passion they poured into their work was something I had rarely witnessed in life. Anyways, I have no idea how she, that abnormality, learned her name. Maybe someone called it out to them while they were inside the containment unit, and she heard it. We should have sent 2 in for work with her. The common procedure was to have a team of 2 sent into the containment unit, but as you know, we are always short-handed. Besides, the abnormality was low on the threat scale. If we followed with the procedures and sent 2 inside, the powers that we would not have been oh my god, I cannot even read this. I'm having white damage on my brain, I guess. The powers that be would not have been happy about it one bit. Maybe they are talking about the higher-ups? Because it's really hard to read this passage and I don't really understand what kind of powers are they talking about. Well, you know the rest. The day the incident happened, she was sent to the containment unit, as usual, but they didn't come out for a long time. I know. She was a prompt and diligent worker, so I heard straight from the containment unit, feeling the worst. Thankfully, I found them without even a scratch, but the kid looked out of it. Like, way out of it. Huh? The next day, the kid was resigned. I heard they sent them to an asylum, but no one ever saw them again. The kid just kept staring at the wall, murmuring and not responding to anyone. That was the very last time I saw them. No one knows what happened inside the containment unit. You know, you won't find out from the kid either. Yeah, at least it gives a very good weapon. I really like this weapon. It's actually very good. It's good at suppressing panicking employees and also good at dealing damage because it has a very good damage, normal speed and very long range. And it has 2 of them. So it's kinda good abnormality in this regard, but of course, if you somehow forget how this abnormality works, yeah, when the attachment work is performed, then you can just wipe out the whole department. It will just do her white damage and kill everyone. At least the clerks. And maybe some employees, if you're not careful. And now, the most annoying of them all. Schadenfreude. Yeah, Schadenfreude. I think it's that how it's pronounced, I don't know. A mechanical abnormality capable of walking on its own. Someone's persistent gaze can be felt from the keyhole inside the machine. It blinks but never closes. The purpose of the eye or what is observing is unknown. After several experiments, it has been discovered that when one or more employees stare at the abnormality, the condition becomes far worse. Yeah, I learned it the hard way, like for 3 episodes, I think, straight, or whatever. Experiment D002. An employee was sent in after covering their eyes with a thick cloth. The cloth must be made from a fine opaque material. Test must be conducted to ensure the cloth completely blocks the vision. After entering the abnormality's containment unit, they face the direction of the abnormality for 10 seconds. No reaction. They faced. Yeah. Experiment D003. Similar to D002, an employee was sent with their eyes covered. The cloth was identical to the one used in the previous experiment, but allowed the employee to discern some forms. After entering the containment unit, abnormality, they faced towards the abnormality for 10 seconds. After 5 seconds, it aggressively approached the employee. Experiment halted. Experiment D004. This time, a blind person was sent in without any covering. The employee faced the abnormality for more than 30 seconds. There was no reaction. Please dispose of the subject used in D004 immediately. Why? Memo. When training employees who have never worked with this abnormality before, it goes without saying, but please make sure to tell them not to look at the abnormality directly. If someone raises doubts about this, tell them what happened to the employee Yumi, who didn't follow the instruction and stared directly at the abnormality. Also, I like how it started from 002. Basically, the first test was a complete failure, I guess. They looked at the thing and died immediately. Memo 2. Employee Yumi can no longer be in charge of this abnormality. She claimed that she is under constant surveillance, but this is a preposterous accusation, and we believe that she has a severe delusional disorder. Most of what she says is nonsense, but to put it simply, she claims that someone keeps watching her, whether she is eating or going to the restroom. Also, whenever she sees something, like a keyhole or a crack between a door, she will sometimes become hysterical and try to seal any holes that she sees. However, what is more aggravating is that her mental corruption level reads normal, which makes it difficult for us to dispose of her by the system. Please replace her soon. It is kinda interesting because I guess this is the effect of this abnormality, but we also know that we are the manager and we constantly observe these employees, at least at work. Memo number 3. Oh, the request we made before was resolved. Employee Yumi was found in her room. She covered all the holes in her room with duct tapes, including the vent. She even stabbed her eyes out with a pen. The delusional disorder seems to have been resolved as well. She is not murmuring nonsense anymore. However, I have to wonder why you would want to send a blind employee to the containment unit again. I don't know what experiment D004 is about, but I don't think it will do much good. I guess they think there is more to this thing than just the sight? Maybe it could be seen outside of vision? Like maybe in the mind? But also, this goddamn abnormality. It says here, if it's not absorbed by the manager, it's completely stationary. So it's very easy to release this abnormality and then kill it for no additional effort. They will not take any damage, even the clerks will survive this. But it still sits in its unfolded form, like here, for example. Right now it's like a box, but when it's escaping, it has this, I don't know, arms and chainsaws spouting out. At least to give us a hint how to deal with this abnormality, because it took so long for me. If I don't look at it, it could revert back to its rectangular form. Like, it would have been a very good hint, to be honest. But no. Well, for this abnormality I need some rest, because this abnormality might be my explosive finale, if you know how it works. Okay, let's read it. Giant Tree Sap. As if you're playing Dark Souls or something. The sap of a nameless, gigantic tree that roots itself on the edge of the world. According to the exploration team, there were a large number of life forms around it, with a scorched green tint. This was because the sap makes them satiated and contain potent healing agent. This is interesting because There is a large number of lime foams around it with scorched green tint. We already know that this green tint is the effect of this abnormality. But this says here, because the sap makes them satiated and contain potent healing agents. Maybe, just maybe, somehow this sap partially dissolved these life forms and partially kept them alive. Alive enough to produce more of excess mass to be converted into this green tint fertilizer for this tree. I don't know. However, some of our employees who drank the sap melted, leaving smoldering green remains. Other various experiments confirm that the probability of melting rapidly increases as more sap is consumed, because you increase the amount of, I guess, special substances within this sap. Many wondered how such a large tree could prosper all the way out in the barren outskirts. The life form who consumed its sap became its nutrients sooner or later. The tree simply reaped from what it sowed. Yeah, very devious tree, and it also shows that not all plant life is how to say, not all plant life is harmless. Like we have certain, in real life, we have a certain plant types that actually eat insects, and some of them even make traps big enough for small birds, and they can even dissolve them. So yeah, don't just immediately assume that anything is good. Sometimes it's not. And finally, the last 4. Starting with a scarecrow searching for wisdom. From one of the famous fairy tales. I think Emerald Rose and the Wizard of Oz, or Yellow Road and Wizard of Oz. I don't remember. There is Wizard of Oz somewhere in that name. An abnormality taking the form of a straw scarecrow. The straw is stained with blood. The head is empty, as if someone forcibly tore it off. I've seen behind this mask. It's not empty, it has a face. But maybe they meant that the inside of the head is empty. It shows aggression towards certain employees, attempting to take their brains. These employees are those who scored excellent on their intelligence test. Each city needed to have its own unique technologies. That was the key to reinvigorating the city. There were numerous ones, but among them one city was saw advancement in technology for replacements of body parts. It was possible to repair or augment body parts that were broken and malfunctioning, or simply undesirable. Every citizen was eligible for that treatment. However, rumors circulated when a rich person looking to improve their eyesight approached a beggar with a broken lung, struggling to breathe. They would transplant the beggar's eye to the rich person. Then they would abandon the beggar's corpse somewhere along the outskirts, still with those rotting lungs. The city representative reassured them, dismissing the rumors as nonsense. To put the rumors to rest, they announced that they would select a number of sick people from the outskirts and pick their body parts they wanted. Out of the lucky few who were chosen, one returned several days later. He had a visibly long scar on his head. People asked him how he felt, and he responded that his head felt lighter. He was a man filled with sorrow, who used to cry a lot, so everybody believed that the surgery was a success. However, when he was asked about the whereabouts of others who went with him, he just smiled without uttering a word. Before long, Even at his parents' funeral, he showed no emotion. All he did after the treatment was stare out the window and talk to himself. Eventually, he hung himself on the doorknob of his house. Some people thought that the treatment caused this trouble, but after a few days, he was completely forgotten. The city still remained a beautiful place, where the emerald roads sparkled bright as ever. Yeah, you see the emerald roads. And also, somehow I also mistook in that story, The Wizard of Oz. They walked on the yellow brick road into the Emerald Palace. But for some reason, I kinda replaced the colors, and it was Emerald Road to the yellow bricked castle. Or golden castle or whatever. I don't know why. But yeah. But it is interesting spin on the tale, because in that tale, yeah, there was a wizard or just an inventor who supposedly could fix anyone and was offering to fix the Scarecrow who lacked intelligence, Lion who lacked bravery, and Metal Lumberjack who lacked heart. And yeah, this is interesting retelling of the story. Like, they literally replace their hearts, brains, and whatever. Even though in that story he didn't really replace it, he just made it look like he replaced it. But we still have something that is very similar to this Scarecrow, but we'll get to it. First, let's read the notes from a Crazed Researcher. The old notes are full of incomprehensible cursive letters and writings. They once belonged to a researcher who had gone mad during their work. It has only been partially deciphered, but it seems most of it relates to the various experiments that were conducted in this place. It begins with a guilt and confessions of unethical experimentations, but gradually spirals into madness, overrun with insane and broken up sentences about research towards the end. The final chapter ends with the phrase, "born again." One's observational skill will improve just by holding this item. However, if it is returned without fulfilling the earning for knowledge, the incompetent shall explode. Yeah, very dangerous abnormality. Somehow I avoided being exploded. Probably because I just assume that every usable item has a 30-second ticking bomb. Did I order? No, I just forgot about that employee, I think. And it opened up the third one. Yeah, it stayed for long enough that I saw this one, and then I ordered to perform some work. I think that was it. But it's interesting, because this place is filled with abnormalities, and it is kinda not a very outrageous thing to think that this place could create new abnormalities. Because what is an abnormality? It's not like you are born with a sign above your head that says abnormality. It's just a collection of items, entities, and whatever that are considered to be unnatural and powerful enough, and somehow they're extracting some kind of energy from them, positive or negative. We don't even know what this energy is about. Maybe you can extract it from humans, from what we know. Maybe you can, maybe you cannot. Well, who knows? But let's look at a warm-hearted woodsman, which looks like a suit of armor with an empty chest. A mechanical abnormality whose humanoid body is composed of entirely galvanized steel. It holds a giant axe with both hands, but does not show any activity. as if it's unable to move. The fiends were imperfect. Oh no, the friends were imperfect in one way or another. So they helped each other to fulfill what they were lacking and embarked on a journey to make their wishes come true. The Scarecrow wanted a brain, the teen Woodsman wanted a heart, the cowardly lion wanted courage, the Dorothy wanted to return home. The one they thought to be the great wizard instead gave the Woodsman a lead heart. But you're a machine, that means you're built to serve humans. Don't you understand? Machines don't need a heart. Good job making all the way here though. Take this compensation. Make sure to tell everyone waiting for you that your wish definitely came true. Some left with satisfaction. The friends departed and were never to be seen again. The heart called lead was depressing. The teen Woodsman couldn't agree with this. In anger, he swung his axe through the wizard's heart. The warm heart was pulsing vigorously. He shoved the lead into the wizard's now empty chest. For the first time in his life, the Woodsman started laughing at the sight and felt a pleasure he had never had before. Grabbing a chunk of mushy hearts, he shoved it into his chest. There will be never enough hearts. Once a Woodsman, he now feels people inside of trees. No. Once a Woodsman, he now fells people instead of trees. Oh my god. Yeah, I need to wrap this up. This is a forest full of hearts. No matter how many he cuts down, the forest still remains dense. A kind person would carry a warmer heart. When the heart is lost, Woodsman will fall to its knees in sorrow, clutching his empty chest, as if begging for the only thing he has left not to be taken. Well, this is a sad story. Machine that want to be real, like a Pinocchio style, but instead it was given a cold treatment, and somehow it's not far off from Angela, I guess, or from the Sephiroth, because anytime they can just put you and call you an F0533 or whatever and say that you are an abnormality. And this is yet another thing, like you see here it says that this is a machine. Basically it's a robot or something similar to that. It has some pipes, maybe it's some exhaustion, and they somehow extract energy from it, so there is no clear label what is and what is not an abnormality. And at least he finally reunited with his old friend, the Scarecrow. Even if it's not the same Scarecrow, maybe. All around helper. A white clean robot with distinct red eyes that looks like a pair of buttons. It always keeps its surroundings neat and tidy. It was originally mass-produced helper robot intended for domestic use. The writing on his back says, an innovative invention that can clean, cook, and even serve as a light security using various tools attached to its limbs. Built to perform efficiently and quickly. Manufactured by XX Incorporated. It recognizes a bad moon as a sign of that the surroundings are dirty, and promptly enters a cleaning mode. It will alert its status by stating lines such as contamination detected, commencing cleaning. However, the limbs are equipped with sharp instruments instead of a cleaning supplies. Rumor has it they were supposed to be used for cutting meat, but they were meant to respond to the clean command by accident. There is no way to confirm whether this is true. It has been determined that the screaming humans make after it cleans is a sign of a job well done. Oh my god, I understand. It has determined that a screaming human make after it cleans is a sign of a job well done. Like, there is supposed to be something to indicate the pause. Okay. And prompt to continue its cleaning. An audio record found within the robot. Oh, it's a new helper robot. Let me see it, I wanna see it. You wanna touch it? Then try it. And play with it. A phone rings. I'll be right back after the phone. Okay? Sounds of buttons being pressed. Helper robot. Hello, I'm your friendly helper robot. How may I serve you? Cleaning. I want to help my money cleaning. Environment contamination 70%. Filth level mild. Commencing cleaning mode. Wow, it's clean, it's clean! Robot. Rrrr. After a few sounds of shrieking, the powers abruptly went out. Yeah. What a nice way to be scared of future technologies, especially in this age when the AI becomes a little bit more prevalent everywhere. Because the main problem with the AI is that sometimes we have lower understanding of what is happening inside of them because of how they learn. And by the AIs I mean machine learning algorithms that actually use machine learning, not just pre-configured if and else function states. Yeah. Well, there is nothing to say about this robot. Again, yet another abnormality that is just a simple robot, and somehow it generates positive energy or negative energy. It all sounds like, yeah, maybe not. It's not the abnormalities that generate this energy, but maybe it's humans that interact with the abnormalities. Like, can this abnormality generate power by itself? Because this bar does not fill up unless someone enters the containment unit. So maybe the abnormalities actually need people. Or differently, the containment unit need people to produce energy. The abnormality is just a trigger, or maybe just a catalyst for the release of energy, some kind of energy. Well, to be honest, who knows? It doesn't really explain the levels of the abnormalities. Like this one is very dangerous. This one is also kind of dangerous, but not to the point. And for example, well, I guess they're ranked in danger level of escaping. Yeah, but that's it for this reading session. At least I get to know a lot more about this company and its doings. It gives a little bit more, it sheds a little bit more light on this situation, and it really makes me think, why do they keep these abnormalities to generate power? And why do they make their Sephiroth so unstable? Like in the perfect company, you would assume that Angela would try to have your Sephiroth to be as stable as possible, so that the work in each department could be coordinated efficiently without any problems, but yet the heads themselves are somehow mentally unstable in their own ways. Like here, she is haphazard. Here, he is just mistrustful of his employees. Here, she is too trustful of her employees. And here, he just doesn't care. It always, and all of these situations just breed some kind of mistrustful environment around, not very efficient one. So maybe, yeah, Maybe my theory is correct about this one. But this is just a game. So if you have any opinions about that, you can post it in the comments. Why did I fail a mission already? Who knows? But anyway, I will continue in the next episode. Hope you enjoyed it and take care.